I mean, it's truly amazing because it's one thing to give somebody this much money and then they turn out to be worth more than your contract. Because what would happen if Nick Saban just fell off? What if he just had one of those years where like the team just, everything collapsed, the wheels fell off.
Right.
And he's settled with his contract and then gets fired. We don't have this. So he gets his big contract, leaves a little bit, comes back and gets an even larger contract. Because I remember there was because he had in his contract, he wins national championship. He gets paid $1 more than the
next highest head coach.
The next highest paid coach. Yeah. He's just moving the bar to the outer space.
And LSU was happy to do it. Like, this is a quote that this amazes me. All right. The money became a hot topic anyway. Mike Foster, Louisiana's governor at the time, told the press that Saban's salary boggles the mind. Sexton optimistically boasted, "Our deal will help every coach in America." Man, the truth of that. Jacobs is one of the trustees at LSU, would later tell anyone who had asked about the money spent on Saban, "It was the best deal in the state since the Louisiana Purchase, and I still feel that way." Like, no wonder they were shelling out damn near $9 million for Ed Orgeron after winning the national championship. They're going to find the money. Like, that's what I've learned most about college football. People will find the money. Like, in a pandemic, when nobody's making any money, the regents and boosters at Texas said, "We'll find $21.5 million to get you up out of here. We will do it." Like, Urban, just say the word. We will get this dude up out of here. Nah, it turns out I don't want to coach Texas. Are you sure? Because I don't want you to think we broke, because we not. Like, what? Like, what I can't imagine this. Because I'm in the middle of something similar, and I'm looking around going, golly, y'all always had this much money? Yeah, RJ, we always have. Remember, we were paying folks at SMU. We were paying folks at Houston. The sport was built on paying kids, right? Because like before college or before the NFL happened, you would see dudes leave campus, enroll at another place so they could play football for that team as a mercenary. That's what it is. And this is how you and I come around to thinking, man, we should have been coaches. Like, put it another way. Nick Saban made $30K as an assistant in 1983. I swear to you right now, the lowest paid assistant at Alabama makes at least $300,000. In Alabama, which has got one of the lowest cost of livings in the country.
That is enough to thrive.
Right? Like, what are we actually talking about? We're and then when you say, he broke college football, because remember, Saban took off a couple of years from, college football. But who stepped in there? Friggin' Florida and Urban Meyer. Because, 2003, LSU wins the national championship. And then here comes Urban Meyer in 2006 and Urban Meyer in 2008 at Florida. And by that time, we're all done. It's cooked. Because you got Auburn going 12-0 and not making the national championship game. It's them and then there's Oklahoma with USC. And then USC destroys the curve. Also, the overlapping braiding of Pete Carroll and Nick Saban's coaching careers is phenomenal and fascinating. At one point at Ohio State, Earl Bruce replaced, I believe it was Don Capers with Nick Saban with Pete Carroll, or some variation of that, as secondary coaches. Fool, what?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. Am I geeking too much about this, or am I geeking the right amount about this?
You know what? I'm saying that you're 5% under geeked.
Okay.
You got a little bit of headroom.
I'm gassed up about this stuff because, these stories are phenomenal and I would have never known them otherwise. Like, all right, I'm gonna tell you this one about coaches' wives, and like Miss Terry is basically the prototypical coach's wife, and how they basically came to the idea that we don't need to be in Michigan State anymore. Okay. All right. So they're holding a holiday party where they invite a bunch of the boosters over in East Lansing to their house. You know, just hang out with them, say, how you doing? What's going on with you? How you feel about life? And apparently, like, they're at this holiday party, and the party's winding down, and they have the boosters over. And Saban says to a couple of the boosters, hey, hang back. I want to talk to y'all for a little bit. They go to his basement. They sit there, and they're having some beers. And, Terry's, this is the scene. Terry is back singing Patsy Cline on karaoke, and Nick says to one of the boosters, his name is Rick Otis, Rick, I got to ask you a question. What do people really think of me? Otis didn't say nothing at first, and, at that point, Saban's in his third season. They're doing pretty good at Michigan State. But after a while, he just decides, I'm going to let him know what people think. And he says, Nick, I got to be honest with you. People think you're a miserable prick. Terry suddenly stopped singing. Then I got on a roll and I said, Nick, you get a hard on getting people beneath you, ripping them and undressing them. I gave him an example after example. And the fella he was sitting with, a fella named Bob Knickerbocker, turns to me and says, hey, Rick, watch it. Just hold on. But the damage had been done. Otis says that Terry made a beeline for them and slammed her wine glass on the bar. And she said, I knew you were against us.
I hate it.
What? And everything I'm reading here is Nick Saban and Terry Saban are a team. They are together in this and everything. So much so that when he said, I'm not taking the job at Alabama, she said, too bad. The Alabama athletic director is here and he's having dinner with us. So if Terry decided they were going to Tuscaloosa, guess what they were doing? And then I'm thinking about this. I watched the Bill Belichick Saban documentary on HBO. One of the things Ms. Terry said was, we saw Alabama as another LSU. We were going, we got an opportunity to do this again. We could do it really well. We're good at this. And the way that she kept saying we.
RG, have you just pitched me Football House of Cards?
Oh my God!
Is that what you've done?
It wouldn't be awesome though. What is the comp to? I like smoke, but I love fire. Like what is the comp to that? Like, yes, give us the Underwoods in college football. All right, Ron, you and I we got some writing to do. We got some pitches to make.
I've got the Screenwrite Pro open right now.
My God, also adding here, Nick Saban and his wife Terry adopted their 2 children, right? They're 4 years apart, Nicholas and Kristen. Very cool. And then there's a note in the footnotes of this book that Terry tells a story to the Tuscaloosa Booster Club of, we did that. But you got to remember, Nick would be off recruiting, 6-8 months of the year. And he'd call me from California. I'm in East Lansing saying, how are you, honey? And I would say, ovulating. Bro! I can't make this stuff up. That's why I love it so much. I love this so much because this is how devoted that man, his family, is to winning football games. So much so that everybody that says that they work for him says, I've never worked harder in my life. Like Derek Dooley's in here talking about, when I interviewed for the job, I learned how much football I don't know. And I learned how hard I don't work. And, I wanted to be there. I was recruiting coordinator. I was in on this. I'm a football coach. And Nick Saban was like, are you? Because I work 48 weekends a year. I show up every day doing this, breaking down film, looking at ticks, breaking down us hitting bags. What are you doing? And if you had an excuse for why you weren't good or why something didn't get done, you get yelled at. And you get yelled at. And you get yelled at.